Welcome back, guys, to Willa May Ranch. In this week's vlog, we're going to be doing some gardening. I saved this one for the last because I wanted some of my stuff to grow up. So, towards the end of the video, you'll see all of the progress that has been made over about 2 to 3 months. So, take my video and take a little bit of inspiration. Let's get this garden tilled and finished up. So, starting off, we wanted to make a bigger garden because we knowed we was going to plant about 4 rows of corn because we wanted to try that out this year. So we started out with the tractor and made it bigger. This one was a hassle to keep the grass out of, but once we got the tractor in there to break up all the dirt, that we then went back with the smaller tiller and just coated everything and got all the grass and everything done up while I'm over there, getting ready for a horseback ride with my kiddos. Hubby is tilling up the garden space to have this all, but we have a huge plan in mind. So y'all stay tuned to the end of the video. Hit that subscribe button, like, comment, do all the things. And these are all seedlings that I started in my basement with that grow light. Y'all check out the description box below because I bought this last year and it has done wonders. Growing these little potted plants by hand has just been a thrill, and the kiddos love to do it. So here's the corn that we planted. We planted a peaches and cream corn, and I have to say that I really like that this corn is like coated with a red color. That way that the crows and the birds won't come over and eat it. I had to do some research and figure that out, but I thought that was super neat about it. Also, a tip on gardening: if you guys are wanting to get your rows perfectly straight, use a board, or like we did, we used a post and we have a spacer in between this. You'll see it's like a short board in between the rows to try to get them as perfectly straight as we can because it's super hard. I don't know if you've ever tried it, but look at how straight my rows are just by doing that trick. Just lay a board or a post and just a smaller board in between the rows to keep your lines super straight. I don't know why that was one of my biggest pet peeves, but we got them all straight to plant everything because I wanted everything to look simultaneously really good together. Next up, we decided to add some varieties of peppers. We have hot, medium, and mild in this bunch of peppers, but I planted one whole row, and I'm really thinking after you guys see the end of this vlog that I'll need another row of peppers. I try to plant stuff that we're going to use, like I make a bunch of spaghetti, a bunch of salsa, so I need a whole row of peppers to make those things. We don't have a very big garden, and I didn't want to do the raised beds because it's so cost expensive. but we do like to do our garden around the things that I know what I can preserve and that we can eat throughout the year. So new this year was my green beans because I didn't plant those last year. So I'm super excited about those. But let's get these peppers in the ground and then I'm going to show you guys the finished look. And then y'all don't forget about your eggshells. Put a layer of these. I have been saving these for almost 6 or 7 months. All I do is I put them in the oven and crush them up as I go throughout using all of my eggs, and it adds calcium back to your plants. Such a super neat trick. And then all I do is I go through and I'll add just a little bit of fertilizer or any kind of nutrient rich soil to add back to my roast so I'm not wasting all of it, but highly recommend the egg trick. It does do a wonder of difference in the colors of what you're going to be using. Like for example, the color of your plants determines like how healthy they are. You'll see them droop or change color. That's how you know what kind of fertilizer to use. Like for example, we use nitrous in our corn and the green color just come back. So that's a tip. If you guys read up on what plants need what. But here is my row of tomatoes and a row of peppers. It's looking so good, you guys. And then moving on to the corn, here is our bevels of corn starting off. They say that if you roach your dirt up like this, that the water flow will get trapped in between the canals, and as the plant needs it, it'll use it. So that's a tip too when you're planting your corn. So moving over to the house, I decided to finish up the look in front of the house, and I'm telling you what, these flowers are not doing so good. I planted them last year. Maybe I planted them too early, I'm not sure, but the leaves are starting to fall off and they're not producing flowers like I wanted to. The lilies are starting to do really good though. These, I can't remember what they were, but they're close to a flower bed. That's the reason why I planted these right here. But here's the front of the house. I'm finishing up the look and all of the flower beds in front of the house. So let's get this finished up and then we'll move back over to the garden. So if you guys are wanting to have a tip, if you've seen this in my last vlog, I put cardboard boxes down underneath this to keep the grass from growing, and it's super working well. And then I just added my topsoil on top of that, and this is right in front of my front porch for a curb appeal. But I'm thinking I need to replace these flowers with something else. I'm not sure what I want to do. I want another flower that grows closer to the ground and has a lot more coverage. So y'all comment below if you have a suggestion for me on that, because these are not doing so well. So while he's outside finishing up putting all the plants in and we're getting ready to finish the archway, it just dawned on me that one of my followers on here asked me to make lemonade, and a lot of you guys don't know how to make lemonade. That boggles my mind. But I do pure lemons, and I do about a gallon full, and I'll get my pitcher and I'll put my lemons in here, and I use in between 6 to 8 squeezed fresh lemons, and then 2 cups of pure cane sugar. And if you guys haven't tried that recipe, try it. You're gonna love it, especially if you like lemonade. But making homemade lemonade is one of my favorites if you guys haven't tried it. So I'm gonna put a description box down below and tell you guys all of the ingredients, but I highly recommend trying some lemonade this summer for you guys. And let's get on out to the garden. And then this step is very important. If you want a more lemony taste, save one of your lemons, chop it up into sections or little wedges, and put it down into your lemonade. The longer it sets, the zest of the lemon is going to make it taste phenomenal. So if you let it set overnight, it's so much better than drinking it right after you make it. But adding 2 cups of sugar. So if you want a more sour taste, add more lemons and less sugar. And that's it. 6 to 8 lemons. The rest of it is water. Tip, it put like hot water in the bottom to dissolve the sugar, but 2 cups of sugar, and that is it for homemade lemonade. If you guys want to give this recipe a try, I highly recommend it for the summer months. I also make this up in 2-gallon jugs, and then I'll put them in a jug and put one in the freezer, but highly recommend these. Let's give it a taste test. If you guys have not tried homemade lemonade, highly recommend it for the summer months. Tastes like summertime. If you guys want to give this a try, I'm going to put the recipe down below in the description box. It's perfect for those long, hot summer days. But this is what we come up with for the green beans. I'm super excited to see these all grown up over top of these. And then down the row right here is our tomatoes. Instead of doing, if you've seen last year, I used string and wove them in and out of each other. That didn't work. So we ended up going with cattle panels, and this is a cattle panel that's 16 foot long, and all we did was run T-posts down in the ground and bend it to fit it. So if you guys are wanting to do a bean trellis, highly recommend 16-foot cattle panel, because it's big enough to where you can walk through it and it's above your head. So once the beans start to grow, I'll be able to pick them off the sides and above your head. Here's the cattle panels that we're using, and instead of tying these while they're really small, we have just been weaving them underneath, and as they get bigger, I come out here every day and I'll bring this branch back over, so that way when they grow, I don't have to tie them. And this works really well with tomatoes, I've heard. This is my first year doing it along with the bean trellis, but highly recommend this because it's super sturdy. That means I'm not going to be picking up tomatoes off the ground that are rotten. So if y'all want to give it a try, this one is also a 16-foot panel, and all we did was run T-posts down and tie them off onto them, and they have made the world of difference in growing our tomatoes and our beans. So in this one is our peppers. We also have some watermelon, zucchini, and squash down there, and I also planted some lilies. If you guys seen the video last week, I planted over 600 lilies on the side of my house, and I'm going to show you guys what those look like now and the flower bed that I did in front of my house. So I'm gonna try to get a really good shot, but look at all the lilies starting to come up. Some of them are coming up as like stars, and some of them are coming up as like long stems. This is my first year planting those, but if you guys haven't seen that video, go back and watch it. I highly recommend it. And then I'm gonna show you guys the ones in front of the house. And there's some lilies starting to come up there. I did plant some right there, and here is the growth on all of those new ones that I put in. Corn 3 months later. So this is about 3 months growth on that corn that I showed you guys that had the little red seeds. It's called Peaches and Cream. So I'm assuming that it's going to be a sweet corn, but highly recommend trying this one out. It growed super easy. All we did was plant it and put a little bit of, what was it that we used? He used a little bit of nitrogen to put down in it to make it a little bit more greener. Highly recommend that trick, especially if your soil is really hard and compact. It just makes the world of difference. But this is 3 months growth, and I can't wait to see you guys again next week. So hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, and I'll show you the rest of the garden and all of the flowers that are getting ready to bloom.